Right, today I thought I would try and test some of the devices that I have on the kitchen table to see if they could work, if they do work, if they can be fixed. And in an effort to do that, I found a 12 volt DC adapter that is rated at 1 amp. The end of it has already had the plug taken off, and we're looking at a couple of bare wires there. So basically, if the adapter was powered on and I was to touch these together, I would create a short circuit, and there's a risk that that could damage the adapter and possibly even fuse. It could possibly even blow the fuse at the main board. So need to be very careful in what I'm doing. First thing I want to do is to use the multimeter to see if indeed I am actually getting anything the um, from the end of this. So the multimeter is on there. It's currently reading 0. I've got it set. It's currently actually set to 200. I'll turn it down to 20 volts because this is a 12 volt adapter. So 20 should be more than enough. And it's set to DC. Pardon me. So just by connecting the terminals here at the minute, I'm getting a 000 reading, which is as you would expect. What I'm going to do, I'm going to keep one lead connected to the negative, making sure the other one is well out of the way. I'm going to power it on at the mains. And we still got 000, and then whenever I connect the other end here, we should see a change. Although actually I'm not seeing a change. So let me swap these around. Now it could be that there's a fault with the wire from the adapter. Okay, so or this adapter is already dead, it's already short circuited, I don't know, but I am getting a good contact onto the probes there, not getting any reading there on the thing. I'm going to turn it off at the wall just straight away, and going to just test the multimeter. So the multimeter should give an audible signal when a circuit is made. Okay, so clearly that's all right there. What can I conclude from that? At the minute, really not a lot. What I want to do now is actually just want to double check that plug socket. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to put the multimeter to, what does that say? 600 volts AC. And I'm going to check the plug socket itself. I have no reason to suspect there's anything wrong with it. This is the one I use for the toaster, and never had any difficulty with it so far. Of course, it would make sense to turn it on, wouldn't it? So that is reading 240 exactly, 241. So nothing wrong with the plug socket. I may try a different adapter, I think, and possibly dispose of this one. Okay, I've got another adapter. This time it's one that has a end still on it. So what I'm going to do, basically I'm going to stick one end of the multimeter onto that if I can, and try and get the other end onto the outside and see if we can get a reading. So this is turned on at the wall. There's nothing coming up on the multimeter. We are set to DC, we're set to 20 volts. Nothing coming up on the multimeter. I'm not convinced that I'm getting a connection right through, because that's quite a tight plug. I wonder if I was able to get something with a bit of bare metal on it and just shove it inside like a paper clip, and then I can try that. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, so pretend we're just a couple of seconds later, and basically I've got a wire tucked into the slot there that I couldn't get the probe into. I'm going to connect the other end and see what we get on the multimeter. Now, when I did that to begin with, I saw something which then seems to go back to 0, which is really odd. Let me try swapping the probes around. So positive on the outside, negative on the inside, and I am getting 0.1, 0.2 volts there on the end of this, which is a bit odd because this adapter is rated, again, it's rated for 12 volts at 1.4 amps. I do not understand for the life of me, unless this wire that I've found is dodgy, why we are getting so little of a reading, unless this is yet another dodgy power supply, which actually is possible, given the fact that I have it in amongst my kind of power supplies that aren't being used or whatever for anything else. I think I had too much of a propensity to hold on to things that were no longer working, in the hope that, let's say for instance, the power supply was still working. Okay, I'm going to cut this plug off, so bear with me. Okay, we now have the plug cut off, a couple of bare wires which I've kept pretty short deliberately, and I'm going to power this on and try again. See what we get on the multimeter. Right, well here we are getting 0, 0, 0. Let's try it around the other way. And 0, 0, 0 yet again. My goodness me, I'm almost starting to doubt myself at this point. But yes, the thing is properly connected to the wall. I'm just finding it strange to see 0, 0, 0. To be honest, it seems to jump a little bit. It kind of jumps up to about 0.3 whenever I first connect the multimeter. Now obviously there's a slight short going through my body in that I'm holding both ends of the wire against the multimeter probes, but it's should be very, very small. Another faulty adapter in my opinion, but I will look for another one. Right, guys, this is probably a good time to point out that making use of mains electricity is an inherently dangerous thing to be doing, unless you know enough about what it is you are doing. I personally I'm not formally trained in electricity and stuff like that. I understand the differences, the subtleties between alternating current and direct current, and a little bit about different voltages and that sort of thing. My father understood it a lot better than I ever will probably, and he did actually make various little electronic projects. Yeah, basically I feel confident that I know enough to make use of this safely. And as I say, currently all I'm doing is actually testing these adapters to find one that is giving me the kind of output that I'm looking for. Um, this is hard to make out. Give me a second just till I go and get something to magnify this to see what the output is. I think it's 12 volts, but I can't just quite make out the milliamps. Okay, having used my trusty magnifying sheet from Temu, I was able to see that we are talking about a 0.5 amp output on this one, which is probably about less than I would like for testing the 12 volt heater. But let's power this up anyway. I just want to power it up and I just want to confirm that I've actually not lost my marbles and that I am getting a reading which is in some way sensible of this. So, yes, lovely. We are getting a minus 12.0607 there on the multimeter. Turn it like that, you might have a chance of seeing it better, maybe. Oh, hold on. Okay, so 000, and connect up here, then you can see 1206 or 07. If we'd put it around the other way, there's a minus on that, so I'm going to suggest it's probably a center positive supply. So this time, hopefully, this will be a positive reading. Oh, I almost shorted the whole thing. Right, 120706. So exact same, and this time we have one which works. Now, as I say, turning this off at the wall here. As I say, there is inherent risk with doing this, and I'm not just sure that the output on that power supply is enough for the electric heater for the car. So let me just look into that a little bit, see if I can find out anything about that first of all before we go any further. Okay, I've got good news and bad news. The bad news is I was unable to see what the rating would be for it's not a heater, it's a compressor, a tire compressor. So I was unable to see what the rating should be for it from any markings that are on it. But on the other hand, actually in a way it's a good thing, because being a compressor, if I try and see if it works without the compressor running, that shouldn't take much in terms of power. So what I've got is I've stuck the little wire that I was using before in the end of this. Actually, before I do that, let me just make sure that that wire is intact. So I'm putting to DC, you're putting on, turn the thing down to make a sound when there's a circuit made. And just basically test that the probes are making a circuit between themselves. Okay, and then I'm just testing the integrity of this wire. Okay, so that's working, so that's fine. At least we know that the wire itself is okay. And basically, yeah, as well as a compressor, this this thing has what's the word I'm looking for? It's got a light on it, which you can set to flash or not. So if I power this up and the light comes on, then that should be a good indication that is working, or at least there's power getting to it. Now beyond that, if I then try to use the compressor and it doesn't work, then, well, okay, so there is power to the lights. Let's see if the light will flash. Okay, so the light is flashing. So the only other thing is to see whether the compressor will work. So I'm just turning that on, and I'll put the light on to light so that I can see if there's power. Okay, so we are getting power, but we're getting nothing on the compressor. So that is not good. Okay, right, so I'm going to say that we have completed our test successfully, in as much as we have been able to put power into the device, but we have not been able to get the compressor to work. And quite honestly, this is quite a lump of a thing. It's beyond my ability to really troubleshoot that. What I will do is I will remove, there's a little bulb, a spare bulb in there, I'll remove that. I might keep the red diffuser. I'm not sure what use that could ever be, but I'll probably remove that, probably remove the bulb from inside the light, and hold on to those bits and dump the rest of it. I already have a new compressor for the car. I just wanted to double check before I would discard this completely that it is dead, so to speak. There's the remainder of this video is just going to be me dismantling this just to have a look inside it. I've already got rid of the bulb that was in there and the other one that was in here. So I've got two bulbs out of it. One of them really pretty dark looking, which is the one that was in use. Although obviously it still appears to work, still lights. But I'm not too sure why it should have become as dark as that. Haven't tested the other one. But yeah, let's just have a look and see what this is like inside. It seems as if there are simply 5 screws holding the thing together. It is a pretty heavy duty case. Needs to be quite honest. It's designed to be set down outside on a little stand thing, and obviously connected both to a car tyre and the 12 volt supply in the car. So as I say, pretty heavy duty, and actually I mean it served me well, in all honesty. The make was Challenge. I have bust the badge off it in an effort to see if there was a screw or something underneath the badge. There wasn't actually, but the badge was such a kind of a solid thing that I was almost convinced that there must be something underneath, and yeah, well, I was wrong. This last screw feels as if it's giving me a little bit of bother. Let's see where we go with that. Must be nearly there, I would have thought. It feels as if it's getting loose now. Now I don't honestly know what, oh there we go, that's the length of the screws there, so they're about an inch or 3/4 of an inch. And apparently this screwdriver has some magnetic properties, or else there was a sticky bit on the end of it, I'm not sure which. Maybe it was more of a sticky thing. Right, let's see if we can get this last one out. And we should be good to take it apart. Okay, this is all lifting quite easily, at least as far as that. Let me have a look underneath and see what's holding it together still. Okay, I think it's maybe just that screw in the center. Just appears to be not completely undone yet. Is that it now? There we go. Right, so is this is just a case. Yep. So we can get rid of that to the side. Let's see what we've got. So this is the bit that goes onto the car tire, and as you can see, that comes back down to this gizmo here, which must be where the air comes out of. Not sure how this is supposed to work, but in essence what you've got is an electric motor, very magnetic electric motor, and I'm not sure if you can see how, there's how magnetic it is. That's just sitting there on its own. So yeah, a very magnetic electric motor. Then you've a small cog on the motor connected to a big cog on this thing here, which obviously must go around at quite a rate. And this, whatever way this works, oh, we can actually see. So that flies around, and there's like a, let's get rid of that, you'll be able to see a bit better. As that goes around, that has a, there's a piston actually, that's what there is. There's a piston that moves up and down inside this. It's actually a bit like an engine in a sense, I suppose, because that's just basically a crankshaft. What actually happens is, as this goes around quickly, the air is compressed in this, creating high pressure in the pipe. And I suppose when the pressure is lower in the tire than what it is in this chamber, then the air will go into the tire, and that's basically how it works. It just continues to rotate, creating high pressure in the pipe, and then forcing that into the tire. So it's actually a pretty simple device. I'm not sure whereabouts it has gone wrong. The power lead is here, and let's see if we can see where it arrives into. I'm not sure if it does anything at this point, or if that's just to kind of hold the cable in place, but it seems to run up here. And actually there's an offshoot there, which I suspect is what goes up to the board for the bulb up here. There's a circuit board there, so that'll be where, yeah, that's the switchboard basically, where you can choose between having the light flashing or on, and the power for the compressor on or off as well. So that switchboard controls everything. Actually there's an interesting thing I hadn't mentioned, but as you can see, there's another pipe at the back end of that compression chamber. I'm not sure if that's the right name for it, but that's what I'm going to call it. And that pipe connects to the back side of the the reader, the readout, the meter. So that's where you get your reading for the pressure that's in the tyre. Interesting. I've never actually seen inside one of those before, and actually amazingly simple in some ways. But there you go. That is unfortunately for the bin. There's a fault there somewhere, but I'm not sure where it is, and I don't know enough to know what the different parts of the circuit would be rated at, and it wouldn't really be safe for me to attempt to try to test those. And quite frankly, even if I were to test them, I have no idea where I would find a replacement motor, if indeed that is where the issue is, and I would suspect that it is because this appears to move relatively freely, enough for me to believe that that's not where the issue lies. So I suspect the motor's gone, or one of these other components, but as I say, I wouldn't even know where to start to try to find something that was the right size and had the right gear and all that sort of thing on it. So that's as far as I can go with that, but there you go. One challenge air compressor dismantled.